Legend has it that when Zuzu had heard about this place in upstate New York, she traveled to Seneca Falls and she was walking down the street. The snow started falling. She saw the bridge and she's like, yep, if there's a real Bedford Falls, this is it. Hi, I'm Mark Mussina. I'm here with local film professional Tom Woodruff. Tom, a Loyalsock grad, also like coming college grad, and you won an Academy Award for
Death Becomes Her.
For Death Becomes Her. Tom and I starred in a play, a local theater play at the CTL called It's a Wonderful Life. He was Potter, I was George, and it was a blast. At the time, I had no idea of the story behind It's a Wonderful Life. I knew it was a fictional tale, but it was just kind of based on small town America. But since then, I've found out that there is a place in New York that claims that they're the inspiration for Bedford Falls, is about 2.5 hours north from here, right in the Finger Lakes. Did you know that beforehand?
No, not at all.
Why don't you and I take a road trip up north and we will do our own investigation and see if there is any factualness to the claim of this small town.
I'm ready for that.
So here we are in Seneca Falls, New York, which claims to be the inspiration for Bedford Falls. Every year they have a celebration, they have a parade, they have a 5K run, but they just kind of a festival celebrating the coincidences or the actual nuances that they believe makes Seneca Falls be the unofficial home of Bedford Falls. And this, being the 75th year since the release of the movie, is an extra special year here in Seneca Falls. So, Tom, let's go around and let's dig up some of the evidence that we have found.
All right. A number of years ago, there was a factory owner by the name of Rumsey, and the factory still stands. And what he provided to his workers was cheap, affordable housing, very much like what Bailey Park provided to the community in It's a Wonderful Life. And I just think, again, that's such a great stepping off point of an idea that happened here in Seneca Falls that made it to the movie.
So one of the iconic scenes of the movie is when Clarence jumps into the water and George jumps in to save him. And a very similar event happened in Seneca Falls in 1917 when a young girl jumped into the canal to commit suicide. And there was a 19-year-old Italian guy named Antonio who was passing by who jumped in to save her, but he perished in the process. And there's a plaque on the bridge commemorating that. So the local townspeople think once Capra saw this plaque and heard of the story that he added it to the script. There are so many local references to places surrounding Seneca Falls. So it's obviously in Capra's mind, he had it somewhere in this area. So from Williamsport, it's a 2.5 hour drive. So depending on where you are, northern, southern part of North Central PA, it's either a little less or a little more, but it's an easy day trip. It's a little bit above Elmira. It's a little bit above Watkins Glen if you're up there, right next to the Finger Lakes. It's right next to Seneca Lake. The wineries that are up there, people make those trips often. So,
and it's beautiful roads too, and beautiful time of the year. I think it's a little late for seeing color in the trees, but it's just the landscape. It's just so beautiful, and there's just so much that the state has to offer.
So every year in December, they do a week-long festival commemorating the movie, and they bring in a lot of the old actors that are still alive. And what's amazing about the movie, this was its 75th anniversary, but because there were so many kids in it, that there are many of these people that are still alive. Janie Bailey, Tommy Bailey, and Zuzu, who is the most iconic kid of the show. And she's in her early 80s, and she's in very good health, and she comes. And you look at the evidence, you look at the Rumseyville, the local towns that are mentioned, and of course the scene from the bridge. Seneca Falls makes a very strong case, and it's a lot of evidence that's hard to ignore. So if there is any place on earth that Frank Capra had envisioned for his Bedford Falls, it probably was Seneca Falls.
At UPMC, we're pioneering new ways to treat cancer, and we're working to prevent it. We're advancing new technology to look more closely at disease and helping you breathe easier. We perform the world's first heart-liver transplant, and we're experts at keeping your heart beating strong. We're a global team of more than 90,000, advancing care everywhere and delivering it closer to you. UPMC, life-changing medicine.